Are you too stupid to get rich? Well, if that's not a loaded question, I don't know what it is. But let's ask, if you ask most people, what are the qualities of a rich person, they'll probably give you two answers. It's either, well, that person's really, really smart, or that person is really, really ruthless, or deceitful, or has a negative quality. So society tends to categorize rich people as being a Bill Gates type who's just really, really smart, like one in a million, super smart, or they're kind of like a JP Morgan who's just really ruthless and maybe unethical, and they kind of use an iron fist to make their money. It's really, you got to be rich or you got to be smart or ruthless, and most people feel like, well, I'm not either, so I'm not going to be able to make any money. Well, I've actually been studying this. And there are people who get rich who are not smart in the sort of Bill Gates sense, and they're not really ruthless or unethical, that they have average intelligence. And I kind of looked at this, and I studied this, and I've really looked at the best way for people to get rich who are not geniuses or not ruthless is they simply imitate what other successful people do. They just literally copy other people. So let's say there's actually a saying that investing in real estate is how stupid people get rich. And that's not meant to be an insult on people who invest in real estate, but it's so easy to follow what people do in real estate that you can easily get rich. Like, just buy a property, rent it out, take the income from that rental property, buy another property, rent that out, and then you just pyramid that on top of each other. And I actually want to recommend, if you're into real estate or want to invest in real estate, there's a great podcast called Afford Anything, and it is a podcast done by this woman named Paula, and Paula actually invests in real estate, and she has 7 rental income properties. And what's great about Paula is that you can actually see her journey. She tells you her journey from scratch, from before she owned any properties. What she did was, she after leaving college, she actually wrote articles as a freelancer online to save up to get her first property, and she didn't spend any of her money. She lived like a poor person. She had roommates, and she saved up for 2 years just doing online gigs, just writing, so she could get her first property. And then she used that first property to get a loan, because a bank is much more likely to loan you money for a property if they know you're going to use it for rental, because they know that you're going to get income in. So she was able, for less money that she would be able to buy a house and less income required, she was able to get a rental property. And she got that rental property, used the income from that rental property to get another rental property, and then used the income from both of those rental properties to get a third rental property. And she just pyramid up to the point now she has 7 rental properties. And her last income report that I saw for, I believe in the year 2017, she had 7 rental properties that brought in $123,000. And after her expenses on those rental properties, which included maintenance and paying the mortgage, she had to pay about $82,000. She was left with 43 grand. And what she talked about was that 43,000 she made for that year, that profit, she basically only had to work 2 to 3 hours a month. And her work was just being on the phone talking to maintenance people, being on the phone talking to people related to the property. And then she talked about, like, she said, I could have been just sitting on my sofa watching TV all of 2017 while that money came in. And she talked about, she opted not to do that. She does podcasts, she blogs about real estate investing, but she talked about that's the power of real estate, is that money that she put into the rental properties brings in more money, and she could just sit at home, watch TV while that money comes in. It shows you don't have to be really, really smart or really, really ruthless to make that sort of money. And Paula, 10 years, she started doing real estate less than 10 years ago. She's got 7 income properties right now. Probably 10 years from now, she'll probably have like 50 or 100, and she's going to be rich. And she's just doing it by just copying what other successful people have done. So my advice to you, if you feel like that you're not a genius and you're not a ruthless kind of person, is just follow in the footsteps of what other successful people are doing. And what will really help you with that is that the people in front of you already stepped in these landmines where they made these mistakes. And you can see what mistakes they made so you can avoid falling into those landmines, or you'll know what to do if you fall into those landmines. It just makes it a lot easier. It's just like having a map to get to a destination as opposed to just driving around and hoping you stumble upon that destination. Like surviving in the wild is like having a survival expert right by your side. So I hope this is helpful for you. You don't have to be super smart, super ruthless to be rich. You're not too stupid to be rich. All you gotta do is just see what someone else did and just follow in their footsteps. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.